AF Comics signing on. It's been a long time, y'all. I'm really excited about this because I am very passionate about this topic. And the name of the video is The Fall of X-23. Okay, so ever since I watched X-Men Evolution, from the early 2000s, I was a fan of the X-Men. I never really watched like the animated series from the 90s. So the X-Men were fairly new to me. I saw the X-Men film in 2000, the Hugh Jackman film actually, and every film afterwards besides Apocalypse and, Dark Phoenix 2019. So, during that time I was introduced to the classical stars, Wolverine, Professor X, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Storm, Jean Grey, Shadowcat, Beast, et cetera, et cetera. And during all that time, one character really stood out to me, and that was Laura Kinney, codename X-23. And ever since, the cancellation of X-23's self-titled series, A Crime If There Ever Was One, Laura's been acting a little different. And, before her character was really stoic, direct, she spoke without contractions. She say, I am instead of I'm, do not instead of don't. And I know these are small changes, I know, but I think nuances like this make a character who they are, and when you neglect them, they become something else entirely. And I blame this on the writers 100%. You even get to see some strange characterization, starting to creep in during Hulk 2009 with Jeff Loeb, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Loeb. And in this issue, it was issue number 15, right? X-Force faces off against Red Hulk's Thunderbolts, right? So X-23 ends up fighting the Punisher, and she's just off, man. She's just off. See, her quips, the fact that she got quips at all, but her quips just don't suit her characterization up to that point. You see, she says things like, you're not serious, you're not serious, a pool cue, huh? What's next? Toothpicks and not such a big man without your big gun and jerk. I'm like, these are not things she would say. This isn't who she is, So I'm assuming if you click this story, you know at least a bit about X-23. And if not, I'm going to give you a quick recap. So X-23 was born Laura Kinney. She's the surrogate daughter of Sarah Kinney and the genetic twin, not clone, of James Howlett, a.k.a. Wolverine. And no, Wolverine didn't go all in on Sarah, all right? Sarah was a part of a covert operation meant to replicate Weapon X, a.k.a. Wolverine, also known as Weapon 10 if you want to be, technical. So this was sponsored by a guy named Martin Sutter and Sutter's protege, Xander Rice. And Rice essentially forced Sarah to be the surrogate mother. And this was because A, Xander hated Wolverine for killing his father when he originally escaped from the old Weapon X program. And B, Wolverine's genetic template was too damaged, so Sarah had to replicate the X chromosome to finish the sequence. So this will make the new organism female. And Dr. Rice, being a misogynist that he is, didn't like this. So he proposed Sarah as the surrogate for revenge. Now, the long and short of it was that Laura went through mostly the same process that Logan was supposed to go through. All right. So she was raised in isolation, dehumanized, and basically trained to be a weapon from birth. However, just like Logan, Laura escaped, but not before she killed both Xander Rice and Martin Sutter. Well, Martin Sutter was more of a mission, but she did end up killing him. But it wasn't like it wasn't personal like with Rice. But anyway, this was not without cost though, because Laura loses both her mother and her martial arts instructor, the only two people that showed her any kindness while she was there, as Laura was programmed with the trigger set that made her go berserk, and she killed them both. And there's a lot more to her backstory, and I recommend you check out NYX and X-23 Target X. But now that you got at least a synopsis of X-23's character history, you can construct somewhat of a picture of her personality. When you compare how she's portrayed in Hulk 2009, you get the idea that she's rambunctious. And while Laura is by no means demure, she was never really portrayed as a typical teenager with witty one-liners, a la like Jubilee or even Spider-Man. If you examine her inner monologue in X-Force #1, 2008, you see that she's very terse, tactical, which is a result of her very Spartan upbringing. Outwardly she uses terms like self-termination rather than suicide. And for a while, this is played straight, all the way through her eponymous series written by Marjorie Liu, which is the quincentennial representation for me. Laura is similar to how she was in previous books like X-Force, NYX, Target X, and even New X-Men and X-23, Deadly Regenesis. Her behavior is very measured. She shows herself to be introspective and even a bit sullen at times. So if you need to check out those books to get an idea what I'm talking about. Now, this isn't to say her earlier portrayals are without nuance. She's clearly dealing with immense trauma, repressed anger, as shown in NYX and New X-Men. She even resorts to cutting to deal with her emotional pain. She doesn't socialize well with others and is unfamiliar with things like affection and infatuation. Now, contrast that with her character in All New Wolverine, where she says things like, "It's beer o'clock, sluts." Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, it gets worse. She says, "If you want to tangle with someone, why not try your luck against the new Wolverine?" Like, it's all just hammy, over the top, too much like a comic book, and it's like not her. She even small things when she's arguing with Gabby in All New Wolverine, when she said things like, "What the heck is wrong with you?" That's just not something she says. She don't outburst in that manner. That's just not her character. That's just not who she is. So all these writers, like Tom Taylor, Jeff Loeb, they not familiar with who X-23 is at her core. And I'm not saying she can't have growth. I just thought it was brilliant that she had a crush on Julian Keller for all those years, aka Helion. It was kind of cute, and I liked it. But I also like that she outgrew a crush when she was written by Marjorie Liu in her own series, And that's not even to say she can't become the character in All New Wolverine. Eventually she gets comfortable, but I feel like she's always going to have some trauma and always going to be a bit reserved, And what I'm saying is that the transition was handled poorly, She went from serious, quiet assassin trying to adjust to normalcy to having the vernacular of a character from class of 09. It's hella jarring, man. I can't deal with it. There's no in-between transition. Laura literally goes from struggling with her past to kissing Angel. Now she's living with Sync. She has another version of her running around. I'm like, my God, man, like what have they done with her? See, I was gonna pick up All New Wolverine 2 and her new standalone series, but after reading a few scans, I'm not sure I want to, man. The movie did a far better job at adapting her character, and they say true to form in terms of her portrayal. But the comics, hell no. Nah, I refuse. So for me, until I hear they've managed to reveal her original character and make her into what made her distinct and not Kitty Pryde, Barbara Gordon-esque, or Teenage Girl A, then I guess X-23 died along with her father. Or brother. Whatever. AF signing out.